Hi, and welcome to the Global Power Platform Bootcamp Philippines 2024. My topic for today is about analyzing sentiments from customer feedback and generating a response using GPT model. So I'm Michael Andrew Ferrer, and I'm currently working as a senior support engineer in Singapore, handling collaboration applications such as Microsoft 365, Power Platform, Google Workspace, and Tableau for a social media company. I'm also Power Platform enthusiast, building applications and automations as a hobby to find solutions to different scenarios, both for personal and business use cases. And of course, I have helped different organizations in their digital transformation journey through implementation, migration, support, training, consulting, and building apps and workflow solutions using Power Apps and Power Automate. So, my agenda for today is why customer feedback is important. How do we automate analyzing the sentiment of customer feedback? How we can automate a response as well to a customer feedback? And lastly, I'll show you a demo of how the solution has been done in Power Automate. So let's start. Why customer feedback is important? Customer feedback is important for several reasons. First is to improve the customer experience. Feedback from customers can help businesses identify areas where they are falling short and make necessary improvements. This can result in an improved customer experience, which can lead to increased customer loyalty and retention. And when customers feel that their voice is valued, they tend to engage and feel that they're part of something bigger than just, for example, having a cup of coffee in the coffee shop. Second is to identify opportunities. Like, customer feedback can also help businesses identify new opportunities for growth and innovation. And by listening to what customers are saying, businesses can identify unmet needs or areas where they can differentiate themselves from competitors. The third one, why feedback is customer feedback is important, is to measure performance. Customer feedback can help businesses measure their performance and track progress over time. And by tracking customer satisfaction scores, businesses can monitor how well they are meeting customers' needs and identify areas also where they need to improve. And lastly, building trust and loyalty. By soliciting and responding to customer feedback, businesses can demonstrate that they care about their customers and are committed to providing the best possible experience. And this can build trust and loyalty among customers, which can lead to increased referrals and repeat business. Overall, customer feedback is an essential tool for businesses to improve their operations, build customer loyalty, and drive growth. So that is why customer feedback is important to improve the customer experience, to identify opportunities, to measure performance, and to build trust and loyalty with your customers. So now let's move on to how we can automate this analyzing of sentiment. So the sentiment analysis pre-built model in Power Automate identifies positive or negative sentiment in text data, which can be from a form or from an email. But in this demo, I'm going to show you later, I'm going to use Microsoft Forms as an input for customer feedback. And sentiment analysis evaluates text input and gives scores and labels at a sentence and a document level. So, what are the scores and labels? So, it will be tagged as either negative, positive, or neutral. So, we use this analyze positive or negative sentiment in text connector here in this solution. Yeah, how to automate a response to a customer feedback. The Power Platform provides pre-built prompts for common business scenarios, and one of them is for drafting a reply. And this prompts generates AI-driven responses without the need to create a prompt. And it is called an AI reply prompt. And what it does is it drafts a reply to the message you provide. So, for example, drafting a reply to a customer's feedback of your product or service. So, that's the overall topic and agenda that I have for today. Now, we're going to move into the demo where I will show you the Power Automate solution, how it's being done, how it works, and also we'll run through the solution. So let's start the demo. The first, I created a Microsoft Forms. So created a presentation feedback form, adding questions about your rating and feedback, and adding how would you rate the presentation, for example, and stars from 1 to 5. And then this is where we capture the text feedback. Under question number 2, it says, please share your feedback about your rating. And then just some other information about the person giving the feedback, so we can capture this and add this also to the workflow and make it more personalized. For example, adding the first name, last name, and of course, the email address is also important for us to send a reply for this feedback. So let's see how it looks like in the form. So this is how it looks like. When you start now, you can fill out the form. First, the first question is you need to select rating from 1 to 5 stars, then add your text here, and then add your first name and last name next, and email address on the next one. Later, I'll show you how it looks like in the form when I'm the feedback giver, and how it will be used in the Power Automate solution as well. So now we are in the Power Automate solution. So the components of this is the trigger is when when a new response is submitted, which is a Microsoft form. And the next would be the actions, get response details from the Microsoft form. And I created a variable to capture only the first 5,000 characters of the feedback. And the next one is where we analyze the sentiment of the text. So from the new response is submitted, it will get the response details, and then it will get the value from please share your feedback, the text field in the Microsoft Forms, and then it will pass it on that information to this connector, analyze positive or negative sentiment in text. This is that one. We selected the language as English as well. And then we will evaluate this condition. Overall sentiment, is it a positive, a negative, or a neutral one? For this example, we will just take on the negative output. So once it analyzes the sentiment and the sentiment is a negative one, then we will proceed with the next steps to create a reply. So once the overall sentiment is a negative, it will go to this branch, the yes branch, which will run another. prompt called an AI reply. So it will create a text using GPT, using a prompt. In the prompt, you will use the input text from the feedback form. And the additional context is we will use a professional tone for the response. This is not a required field, but it also helps you to control the response output. And then I just added a compose here to when testing, you will see the outputs in here. Before sending an email to the responder of the form. So this is where we put in the email address from the form, and I just added a subject in here. And in the body, we just personalize it with hi, and then the first name of the responder, and then the generated text from here using the GPT action, and just added a more personalized signature as well. So I'm going to show you next how it looks like in um, when we run the whole solution. So here we are in the form. So for example, I am the responder to the form. So I'll select start now. And this presentation is not really good. I'll give him a 1 star for this. And then maybe I'll say the presentation is not good. The topic is boring and not informative. Mm, it did not show how the solution was developed. And lastly, I would say I would not recommend this topic and presenter next time. But of course, I hope you don't provide that kind of feedback to me. But well, feel free to. That's how we improve. So we hit on next, and then I'll put in my first name here, last name, and then the email address I'm using for this demo. So before we hit on submit, let me just run the test here. So we will activate it, activate the workflow to wait for the response from the Microsoft Forms. So now it's activated. This is still just a test. So when we click on submit, then the workflow will run. So now as you can see, it will put a check on each of these actions and the trigger first, and then next to the action, so you will get these response details. So this is where I put in my information like the email address, the share your feedback about your rating, the whole text is right there, the last name, and my first name, how you rate the presentation. So it was a 1. And responder's email, the reason why it's shows as anonymous because I put I changed the setting of the form to so that anyone with the link can respond to it. But if you're using it for sending asking a response from users from your organization, then it will show their email address in this field. Then just the submission time data and the body of the whole response. And then here, this is a string a variable which collects this data, the one from the text field in the form. And then once we get that, we pass that this on to the analyze positive or negative sentiment in text action, which will evaluate this. So it will provide you a probability overall text. Maybe it's negative, it's 87% or 0.87. Probability that it's neutral, it's 0.13 or 13%. And probability overall that the text is positive, we all know that it is not positive at all. And I think the AI got it right in here as a 0. So we now get this result as overall text sentiment as negative. So now what will happen is that it will go to the condition, will evaluate if this overall text sentiment is equal to negative, as what I've shown you earlier, and it evaluated it as true because we have the overall text sentiment here as a negative. So now it went to this yes branch. It activated this create text with GPT using a prompt. We use the AI reply prompt, and this is the input data, and this is the response. So it's difficult to read like this, so we can use the compose to not really as well, but we will see in the email later on how it looks like um, in the receiver's end. So it looks good. Everything's green. Everything run as expected. Now let's see what the email looks like. So it says here, hi Michael, thank you for sharing your feedback about the presentation. I apologize if the topic was not engaging or informative for you and if it did not provide enough insight into the development of the solution. Your input is valuable and we appreciate your honesty. We'll take your comments into consideration for future presentations. And if there's anything specific you'd like us to improve, or if you have any other concerns, please let us know. Best regards, Michael Andrew Ferrer, the presenter. So this is the personalized signature I put in the email action. So what do you think of the response? Let me know. I think it sounds engaging and professional as well. So it says you appreciate the feedback. You thank the responder to about the feedback they have provided. It apologized about about certain things that was not engaging and informative. So it took those keywords as well into consideration, and if it did not provide enough insight, so it took that um, information as well about not showing the solution, and it also asked for input, or it actually just you know reassured that the any input and feedback is valuable for the business. We will take into consideration so as to improve on it. And also, it really asks for any topic or anything that you would like the presenter to know. So that is something engaging because you thank the provider of the feedback, the responder, and you apologize for you reassured that you heard and you listened into the things that was not right, and that reassured that it's valuable for him, as well as asking for items to improve on. So I think that is good, but also let me know. how you think about it. So that's about for the demo. Thank you for listening in to the presentation and how the workflow has been done. And lastly, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for joining this session. There's a QR code for my LinkedIn profile. Would love to connect with you and add you and connect with anyone with within LinkedIn. And also, I have a YouTube channel called Paradigm Shift 365. I have a few videos in there. I will add more. I'll certainly add this presentation as well there in the coming days. Thank you very much and hope to see you again.